Welcome back to Royal Productions, where your mind is your crown. But if it's your first time, basically what we do here is cover crypto news, blockchain, and anything to do with the new digital infrastructure of this age. Now, before we get into these articles I have for you guys today, make sure you remember to always do your own research. Articles will be linked down below. Now, let's get into these prices and then this news I have for you for today. Okay, Bitcoin sitting at 64,000, total crypto market sitting at 2.21 trillion, Ethereum sitting at 1900, XRP at $1.08, Solana 74, we got Hyperliquid 53. If you want to take a look at the rest of these prices, pause it really quick. All right, moving on to the first article I have for you guys today. Senators ready to send stricter ethical rules on Trump's crypto ventures to White House, sources say. All right. Next article. As crypto perpetual futures boom, Ethereum's role is shifting. Okay. And if you guys don't know about Ethereum, let's just cover the articles for now. The traditional 9 to 5 banking day is officially dying, says Morgan Stanley executives. Binance.us to attempt prediction market entry as CFTC licensed entity. So in August, I guess they will be applying for this, but for now, they've been just doing their thing under the guidelines of the CFTC, but we'll cover that in a second. MoonPay Vault enables ChatGPT and Claude users to authorize crypto transactions. Okay, it's getting crazy out here. U.S. sanctions Iranian maritime firm says it accepted Bitcoin to evade restrictions. So it looks like we're not done with them. Okay, we'll cover that in a second. All right. Alright, the first article I have for you guys today. Senators ready to send stricter ethical rules on Trump's crypto ventures to White House, sources say. So insiders say that the bipartisan Senate duo revamping the bill's Trump-approved ethics section have come up with something they hope wins sufficient yes votes. So basically, they do not want Democrats or politicians or people holding Senate seats to have anything to do with crypto. And I don't understand why they're doing this now. We've had these people involved in stock markets and insider trading for years. And if you guys don't know about that, do your research, okay? But basically, if the effort works, the Clarity Act has scant time to make it through the Senate's arcane voting process if it's going to become a law this year. So remember, in August, there's a lot happening. We have them going on vacation. If they're not able to get this done, we are going to have to wait another year, okay? Maybe even longer. But basically, it's unclear who has seen the latest effort from the bipartisan duo that has been trying to negotiate a final acceptable compromise, but it would need to get approval from the White House and buy-in from a lot of Democrats before the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act can knock down its final dominoes and get a vote in the U.S. Senate. And so we're gonna go down here, and it talks about how they don't want people. This is just basically aimed at Trump and his thing that he's been setting up with his family and whatnot, but also others. After nearly 11 months of giving almost everything asked of us, I genuinely don't know what else the Democrat colleagues need before we act. And this is by the Republicans, of course, Cynthia Lumens, and she, like, I don't know, she's been good in this whole argument. And if you ever watched her interviews, she's very like stoic. She answers the questions. She doesn't get all irate and crazy about it, and I just like the way she holds herself. But so what are they still working on? The language of the Clarity Act has been through a lot of talks and compromise and its various permutations through the last couple of years, but the parties at the negotiating table have reached a relatively narrow division that focus on a few matters, including what's commonly known as ethic provisions, some illicit finance protections that have potentially heavy implications for decentralized finance, DeFi, the issues that never go away, the allowance of stablecoin rewards program and yada yada, the yield and stuff like that. But they also they keep bringing up Trump and what he's done with his coin and what his family has done and how much they've made over, this time of them being in office. Not them, but, President Trump and what he's been able to do. So this is different from before because, like, remember, the blockchain is damn near seen by everybody. It's not like the stock market where you can kind of hide some of your private investors and people would have to actually go deep into the internet to figure out what you're doing. With the blockchain technology, it's on a level playing field. Everyone can see it. So they're still working on this. Hopefully they can get this bill passed, but I don't know. It's still up in the air. We'll see what happens, okay? Just keep your eye on what's happening. Remember, we bring you the news here first, so make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe. Moving on. Okay, as crypto perpetual futures boom, Ethereum's role is shifting. So let's go down here. Preps require frequent transactions, fast execution, and deep liquidity, said AJ Warner, Chief Strategy Officer of Off-Chain Labs, the main developers firm behind the Layer 2 Arbitron. That makes them a natural use case for Arbitron platform. So it talks about the perpetuals and how Ethereum's not cut out for the fast execution and deep liquidity. And also it talks about the low cost, okay, and high frequency trading. When you're dealing with perpetuals, when you have a system like Ethereum, it's not built for that, but the layer 2 of it, Arbitron, is built for it. So it looks like they're moving in a direction towards perpetuals, but we'll see what Ethereum can do. I never really liked Ethereum because of the gas fees. I understand it, I get it, I know how the system works, but it reminds me of taxes, you know what I mean? And when we're moving into this new digital age, you shouldn't be taxing everyone for each transaction. But it's neither here nor there. If you enjoy Ethereum, just pay attention to what they're doing. They're moving to a layer 2 network where trading is taking place. So basically the layer 2 works better for what they're developing and just the whole ecosystem of perpetuals and also futures and stuff like that. So yeah, they're shifting. We've seen a lot of what's happening, and this is another point. I made this point yesterday with the blockchain and how things have to be damn near 100%. Okay, preps on chain are really hard, said Brian Smith of Gito Foundation. It's not just about an average performance that matters. It's about 99.99 success rate. And I said 100. Okay, it has to be 100. This 99.9 success rate, that even falls short of what we need when we're talking about a system that runs 24/7, a system that is built off liquidity and execution orders and stuff like that. If your preps platform goes down, that's existential risk. Okay, and remember, when you have a platform like Ethereum that holds a big weight in this industry right now, and something were to happen to it, it not only affects that company, but it affects the rest of the blockchain. It's kind of like a virus. If the blocks aren't placed on top of each other securely, then the structure is going to fall apart. And that's exactly how blockchain is. It's like a Lego set. Okay, moving on. The traditional 9 to 5 banking day is officially dying, says Morgan Stanley. And if you guys haven't been paying attention, then this is going to catch you off guard. But the whole idea of tokenization and 24/7 marketing are reshaping finance, making always on banking a reality. So we've said this here, where it's like 24/7 banking. We don't have to worry about these banks being the middleman. When we have blockchain and AI running these systems, you can be in Japan and still trade in America. You know what I mean? As long as you have the proper digital ID credentials. But we're not going to get into that. But the bank is expanding its digital asset offering with crypto trading on E-Trade and new Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana ETFs. So this is huge when you have a company coming out saying this. We've said this over the years with this channel, is that the whole idea of the old system is dying right in front of us. And like I said, when Morgan Stanley comes out and says something like this, then you should listen, or at least pay attention to what they're saying. I do phrase it as is. Look, this is the end of the banker hours. Grasick said, your batch processing mentally is going to be a thing of the past. So all this crunching numbers, all this stressing out over, if this person's books or accounting is right, all that is a thing of the past, especially when you have cryptocurrency around the clock. Okay, so just pay attention to what's happening. Morgan Stanley seems to understand the future of this new age, so they're speaking out and they're letting people know. Remember, these are signals. You either pay attention to it or you don't. Okay, moving on. So Binance.USA is attempting prediction markets as entry as CFTC licensed entity. So right now they're only working inside the guidelines that were set by the CFTC, but they are not official yet. They don't have regulation yet, so they are applying for this. And this comes a year after the lawsuit against Binance. The report application would come more than a year after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, dismissed its lawsuit against Binance, its U.S. entity, and former Binance CEO Zhao, over allegations that included misusing customers' funds. All right, so if you guys use Binance, just be aware of what you're using and just always do your own research. Remember that. But I don't like the allegations of misusing customers' funds personally, but it's neither here nor there. If you're trained on Binance, just be aware. It might get better for you guys, but just know what you're dealing with, know what you're getting into. All right, on to some lighter news. All right, MoonPay Vault enables ChatGPT and Claude users to authorize crypto transactions. I'm not going to cover this article too much. If you want more on it, you can read. But AI is going to be the new infrastructure of how the digital age works. Why? Just because it's better. We don't need humans making human errors based off of whatever they might be going through. They can have a shitty day at home, come into work, and mess up someone's books. With the AI, it's emotionless. It's able to do these transactions as long as it has the proper formalities and framework to do so. Okay, so MoonPay's Paybox Vault lets ChatGPT and cloud users authorize crypto purchases, token swaps, and cross-chain transactions while retaining custody of their assets. So it'll be locked up in your vault in your account still, but you're still able to allow these AI agents, you would call them, or even bots, to trade for you. Okay, users connect a crypto wallet and payment method to ChatGPT or Claude, which prepare transactions such as token swaps, cross-chain transactions, and DeFi interactions using natural language prompts. Okay, so there's no coding. You don't have to do all this extra stuff. It's just natural language. You speak to it like a regular person or even a broker. But what's crazy about this application, or even this type of integration with AI and finance, is the boundaries are endless. Okay, when we're talking about like a big Fortune 500 company using AI to make transactions, okay, it's kind of like the example I gave like last week. If you have like a restaurant or something, your food is on the blockchain. Without opening the fridge, you know how many burgers are in there. You know how much salad is in there. Okay, when we talk about like what happened with this last little parasite that got released into the public, yes, I said released because that's what I think happened. You're able to see exactly where these vegetables came from and where they're sitting in your freezer, right? Because the blockchain is operating that way. You have AI able to organize this stuff. Okay, it came from this farm. We got to make sure that we pull all of this off the market. So in a way, it's going to help the system if people use it in the right way. It could trap us as well, but it's up to you. Always do your own research, but I like this. I kind of like this. I'm not huge on AI. I do use AI, so I'm aware of it, but it comes to a point where it's kind of like a smartphone. How when a stupid person is using a smartphone, it doesn't matter how good the smartphone is. Okay, so just be aware of this technology, know what's happening, and keep your ears to the streets. Okay, always. Moving on. U.S. sanctions Iranian maritime firm says it accepted Bitcoin to evade restrictions. Okay, so I don't think we're done with the East, okay, the Far East, when it comes to these sanctions and stuff like that. There's some news that came out. I wasn't covered about Russia, but I don't want to keep these articles too negative. It's just one of those things where the framework is still being built. Okay, when we talk about oil, when we talk about the Strait of Hormuz and all these different things that are happening all over the world, quote unquote war and stuff, it's all about getting this infrastructure correct. Okay, like, I'm not gonna go too much in conspiracy, but my whole idea about distraction is they have to distract us for long enough so they can get this system in place. If they don't keep us distracted, a lot more people are going to pick up on this, invest in it, and then at the end of the day, they won't have no control over it. Because remember, cryptocurrency, when we're talking about how much like XRP is out in the world, the max supply right here is only 100 billion. Okay, so if everybody in the world got one of these coins or two of these coins, you know what I mean, it would flood the market to the point where this asset would not work for their institutional grade adoption. Okay, and it's not just XRP. All of these coins are damn near they have a built-in system to them where inflation doesn't really affect them as much as printing more money does. Okay, when you have a scarce asset, high demand, okay, like Brad said, you don't have to go to MIT to know what's going to happen to that asset. Okay, and we're talking about most of these assets sitting at the top. A lot of these coins are going to go down, okay, because they are shit coins, excuse my language, but that's just the bottom line of it. When you have different companies that are working like Ethereum's understanding that they need to shift, okay, and they're doing that. Arbitron is already built on their layer 2. I like Arbitron. Let's cover them really quick. Go back over here. I thought they were at the top, but let's cover them real quick. All right, here we go. Right. All right, so they work specifically with a different branch of what Ethereum does, okay? And as you can see here, the circulating supply is this right here. The total supply is right here. Max supply, some coins can make more, but when you have a company and when you have consensus that are voting on these things, they're just not going to print more money, okay? Like, they're not going to just print more coins or put more coins into the market. All right, so make sure you always do your research. Understand that this system is being dragged out for as long as they possibly can because it has to be correct. We just covered with Ethereum that a lot of these markets have to be 99.99% accurate. If you have any type of flaw in the system, it's going to hurt other systems that are connected to it. So yeah, always do your own research, read the articles down below, understand what it means to you and your collective consciousness. All right, moving on.